Hi team, good evening. Okay, so we'll start with our topic today. Okay, so get hands-on and headless development with the ASP.NET Rendering SDK. Okay, so along with the concept, we will look one of the sample project as well. I will give a walkthrough on that. Okay, so my name is Andiappan. Okay, so I have a 10 plus years of experience in Microsoft.NET framework, and recent 7 years I'm working with Sitecore. Okay, so this is my blog site. Okay, so you can see my all latest blogs and all my open source projects as well. Even this demo project as well, I will publish here once I am ready with the document. As of now, it is available in GitHub. Okay. Thanks, Bangalore User Group, for giving this opportunity. Okay, so now we'll get started. Hope my voice is okay for everyone, right? If any issues, just highlight me. Okay. Yeah. So we'll get started now. So any topic before we get started. Okay, so it's a common thing like what, why, and how we have to start. So first of all, this ASP.NET Rendering SDK, the headless development, it's a purely headless development. Okay, so in out there are a lot of information like what is the advantage the headless CMS. Okay, so why all the CMS world towards the headless. Okay, so there is a lot of outside good information out there. Okay, so I'm trying to give as much possible what not outside that. Okay, so in Sitecore world, we have few options. Okay, so one is very famous JSS. Okay, so which is using JavaScript SDKs. A lot of variations available like React, Angular, and Vue. Okay, so now we have one more option, ASP.NET Rendering SDK. So using that, we can build our .NET Core MVC project with this rendering SDKs. So now, why we have to consider these kind of a headless? Okay, so obviously, if any technology we are choosing, that have their own flexibilities and features. That's why we will use these kind of technology. Okay, so going towards the headless world. Okay, so yeah, Gopi. Hello. So how about guys now? Now it's okay? Yeah, okay. So I will use like this. Okay. So I will start where we left. Okay. So now why we have to consider these kind of headless development. Okay. So that have their own flexibilities. Okay. So your host will be as segregated from the head. Okay. So then it will have their own flexibility like a platform independent, technology independent, and lightweight. Okay, so it's a developer centric. Okay, so it's not the marketing or the centrics. Okay, so that have their own flexibility. Okay, so this what and why. Okay, so I'm suggesting people you to check in Google. Okay, so try to get understand more about the features what I didn't cover. Okay, so today I will go through with ASP.NET Rendering SDK, how we can kickstart our the development activity and how we can get real hands-on. Okay, so with the sample project. That way we will continue our things. Okay. So before starting our things, okay, so it's a new item. Okay, so it has their own prerequisites and tech and skills. Okay, so related to the tech specs. Okay, so definitely we need one Sitecore XP. Okay, so that compliant Sitecore versions is available. Okay, so I'm giving the link over here. If you go to the link, it will have the what are the uh, the versions it's supported. Okay, so the site basically the Sitecore compliance version supported. That information you can find here. Okay, so that is the first prerequisite, and then it uses layout and headless service. Okay, so I will tell you the detail. I hope you guys are aware what is a layout service and headless service. Okay, our rendering host, it's a segregated one. Okay, so which has to talk to our Sitecore XP, the CM or CD. Okay, so then that communication has to be happen, right? So that communication and the data which is flow from the services are usually called as a layout and headless services. Okay, so this package also separate package we have to install in our Sitecore XPs. Then only we can consume those services. I will tell you during the demo. Then ASP.NET Rendering SDKs. Okay, so which is nothing but you need a few NuGet packages. Okay, so which is already available in Sitecore public feed. You can use that. Okay, so next tech is like we need Docker. Okay, so which is really not important. Okay, so only for development purpose. In current situation. Okay, so outside all the articles are with the Docker only. Okay, so uh, if you go to the official documentation or the symposium. Okay, so all everywhere they are using a Docker. Okay, so definitely you need a Docker to go with that samples. Okay, but for this is only purely for development environment. Okay, so now coming to the skills. Okay, so I'm going to kickstart this ASP.NET Core rendering SDKs. Okay, so what are the skills that you need is it's a basic our existing site core skill set. Okay, so that hopefully everyone will have. Okay, so the additional thing you need is .NET Core. Okay, so because you are going to build your rendering host. Okay, so here the in headless Sitecore headless world, rendering host is nothing but your uh, your application. Okay, so which is a body, you can assume your headless application. Okay, so that is we called as a rendering host. Okay, so in throughout the article I will call it as a rendering host. Okay, so then you can follow me with that way. Okay, so these are all the prerequisites and tech and skills. Now, so we'll start how to set up and all the things. Okay, so as I said, okay, so I'm trying to cover what Google is don't have enough information or anything new like that. Okay, so in outside you can see multiple articles. Okay, so these are all I listed here. Okay, so all are with the Docker. Okay, so with the Docker only, you can run the sample of what they posted. Okay, so those things. Okay, so one of the main sample is official documentation from Get Started template. Okay, so it's a very minimal project. Okay, so you will have two to three components. Okay, so main the connectivity part and everything. Okay, so using that you can find it. Okay, so they will give all the steps. Okay, so this one Docker is prerequisites. Okay, so you have to install all the prerequisites, and then they will list all the details. Okay, so there are multiple articles out there. So with the Docker today I'm not going to cover. Okay, so without Docker I'm covering. So it's a clean and outside currently there is no such article there. Okay, so you have various options. That's what I'm here to mention. Okay, so first one is a get started template, and then we have a nice on YouTube symposium walkthrough of get started template by Nick. Okay, so that is also very useful. And then the Sitecore MVP site. Okay, so this is a it's a open source site. Okay, so you can check the code in outside. Okay, so they also provided how to set up and how to use. Okay, so they clearly give in their documentation. You can follow that as well. Okay, so the source codes are available in GitHub. Okay, so they will also telling what are the prerequisites, how to you can install. Okay, so these are also very clean and straightforward. You can follow. Okay, now coming back to our things. Okay, so Helix sample. This also one of the sample which also using a Docker. Now without Docker, I'm telling why I choose without Docker is like as I said outside most almost 99.9 percentage we have a Docker setup. Okay, so if you don't want to use a Docker or you want to understand more about if you're using Docker, okay, so few things they already solved. Okay, so you may not aware, only you have to create a component and you have to go like that. Okay, so if you are without Docker, you are try to do setup. Okay, so you will get more insight about the solutioning project and the life cycle, everything you will get understand. And then it will easy to set up because we most people's will be in corporate world. Okay, so they will not have the chance to install Docker. Okay, so Docker have their own prerequisites like we need Windows Pro. Okay, so we need a Hyper-V. Okay, so for that it requires Windows Pro or Enterprise. Okay, so that limitation and that have their own recommendation is that. Okay, so that's why I choose without Docker sample. Okay, so now as of now we'll bye bye to our slide. Okay, so now we'll get into our sample side. Okay, so we'll get some real-time example. Okay, so this is I created one GitHub. Okay, so here you will have the entire source available. Okay, so before getting into the information, okay, what I will do, I will give a walkthrough of the repository as well as a, sample site. Then we will go individual components, how it is working, and the life cycle, and the project structure, and the solution. Everything we will look out. Then we'll get some idea how the rendering SDK is working, how the headless is communicating to head, and how overall things are happening. Then you will get some clean hands-on. Okay. So this is my GitHub, the sample project here. Okay. So first of all, it's a one sample bank website. Okay. So I just create one sample bank website. Okay. Guys, still or it's fine now? Hello.
Yeah, it's fine now.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Now I will come where here I left. Okay. So this is a demo bank sample website. Okay. So here what I'm trying to achieve here, one simple website I'm taking. Okay. So all the components, all the best practices. Okay. So I will try to incorporate in that website, and it have their own technologies stack. Okay. So right now I'm just started with ASP.NET Rendering SDK. Okay, so the complete source will be available here with the serialization as well. Okay, so I'm working on the JSS React part. Okay, so it will be available soon. Okay, so that status you can find out here, the latest status. I will update very often. Okay, so for a website, okay, so this is how it will look like. Okay, so it's a simple website. It will have their common components. Okay, I will tell you one by one component, then we'll go in a very deep. Okay, so I will try to adapt Helix principle. Okay, which is super. Okay, which is have their own flexibility. Okay, so that's why I couldn't able to avoid the principle. And then I'm trying to do without Docker. Okay, so then it will be little lightweight. Then multiple site also I have a two site. Okay, so I will try to reuse some components between the sites, then you will get familiar on that part as well. And then our multilingual. As of now, I have two language samples, English and Tamil. So how those things are working, that also you will get hands on, because it's a newer environment, a newer tech, right? So you need all the 360 way of working. That's why I created almost all the possible use cases which we normally use in our Sitecore world. Okay, and then experience editor. Okay, so the solution will support experience editor and sitemap. Sitemap is little different use case. Okay, so that requires their own the code. Okay, so that I'm using one of extension. This also built by me. Okay, so that source is available here. I will give a walkthrough. Okay, so how the sitemap we can generate using that extension. How we can extend it. How we can modify based on your requirement. Okay, so that also I will tell you. And then some generic components. Okay, so generic components which includes like a main menu, carousel, and custom form submission and language switcher. Okay, so most of the common components which we normally use in our sites. Okay, so that I will try to use here. And then the search. Okay, so here in headless world, okay, so it's good to use with the graphical implementation. Okay, so that I gave one sample. I will explain how it is working that as well. And then custom routing and custom form submission and the 404 and the graph. So these are all the available part. Okay, so few things I'm working on it. Okay, so sooner I will update. Okay, so Sitecore forms is pending with the Sitecore, not with me. Okay, so once they update it, I will cover that part as well. Okay, so this is the sample project. Now we'll move into the source. Okay, so you can find the source information here. Okay, so which is nothing but inside the SRC, I will create a one folder. Like as of now, ASP.NET SDK. In future, it will come JSS as well. Okay, so I'm moving to the source. Okay, so now how you can get started this project means. Okay, so you can download and you can set up the things as I instructed here. I will give the instruction also. Okay, so then you can create your own components. You can change it. Okay, so you can play with it basically. Then only will get a hands on. Okay, so I will give the solution walkthrough and I will give the demo as well. Okay, so this is a ASP.NET SDK, the solution structure. Okay, so I already downloaded. Okay, so I only built, so it is with me. So this is the structure. Okay, so it's for us it's very familiar because it's clean helix architecture. Okay, so we have a project layer, we have a foundation layer, and we have a feature. Okay, so the clean principle. Okay, so nothing different or nothing to worry. Okay, but little headless consideration will be there. I will explain what are all those things. Okay, now you just first download. Okay, so you try to get understand, and then in this structure you can find little different things. Okay, so from our typical world. Okay, so that what is that now? One is rendering host related project. Okay, so that will start with the start.rendering, and another one is the platform related project, start.platform. Why these two things is actually, I will tell you. Example, you can see platform project and rendering project. Okay, so rendering host will be our application. Okay, so the website you are running. Example, the sample website you are seeing. Okay, this sample website you are seeing, and platform is our Sitecore XP. Okay, so it may be content management or content delivery. Okay, based on your development environment or the hosting environment. Okay, so it may differ. Okay, so this is the understanding you have to get it. The same way you can follow. Okay, so even the MVP website also they are following the same kind of structure. Okay, so yeah, as I said, the project feature layer and foundation layer, the same clean helix principle. Now, how we can set up? Okay, Okay, so as I said, first you do all the prerequisites. Okay, so the respective Sitecore version and the headless service installation and your respective .NET Core ready rendering host related stuff like Visual Studio and .NET Core the version you want to use. Okay, and then once you download, you can use the serialization to push the things to your XP. Okay, so that serialization as of now it's available in directly. I'm mentioning here in project. Okay, so I will restructure based on the KLX. Okay, so as of now I'm reusing the same serialization to JSS as well. Okay, so as you are all aware, from the Sitecore perspective, okay, the content item and the rendering. Okay, so in headless world, it will be a JSON rendering. Okay, so those are all same. Okay, so from the Sitecore perspective, only the code will be changed. Example here, ASP.NET Core. Okay, so for JSS, it will be JSS React. Okay, so I will show you that as well. Okay. Now coming back to here, once you do the serialization, okay, so you can check in your content editor whether all the items will be present or not. Okay, so minus the D bank. Okay, so this is how the structure will be. Okay, so it's so familiar to you. Okay, so nothing changes. Okay, one thing you can find changes is like the rendering types. Okay, so typically it will be controller rendering, view rendering. Okay, so here it will be JSON rendering. Okay, so this is a one change you can find out. Okay, I'm showing some sample. Okay, so this is one of sample rendering. Okay, so you see, so here it's a component name. I will tell you the relationship in the component name. Okay, so using this name only, our rendering host will resolve the components. Okay, so you can see the type will be JSON rendering. Okay, so this will be common for both JSS project as well. Okay, so now we'll resume with our item. Okay, once you done the serialization, once you have all the content item, okay, so then what you have to do is like the platform related project artifacts. Okay, so I'm highlighting again. Okay, so the platform is the Sitecore XP related stuff. Rendering host will be your the ASP.NET Core application, which is a headless application. Okay, so what platform related stuff we used to have now, example site definition. Okay, so definitely we need a site definition to um, have that site definition creation. Okay, so this is how the sample site definition for ASP.NET Rendering SDK. Okay, so this is our so-called site definition. Okay, so then this will be our apps. Okay, for using this only the layout servers and the respective experience editor, everything will get understand. Okay, so we will use to give the same set of details as well. Okay, and then our graphical related information as well. Okay, so now you can feel. Okay, so this platform related stuff you have to deploy it in your Sitecore XP. Okay, so remaining thing you don't need to deploy because it will be sit in your the rendering host related project. Okay, so I will resume with that part. Okay, so next thing is app settings JSON. Okay, so here in the rendering host, you will have the app settings JSON. Okay, so here only you will mention what is your Sitecore instance URL. Okay, so this will be Sitecore XP, and then the layered service path. Okay, so this will be common. Okay, so it will not change, and your default site name, which should match your site definition name. Okay, so the API key. Okay, so API key we will use for the headless JSS world implementation. Okay, because you are consuming a layout services. Okay, so that layout service should be in authenticated position. Okay, so against this API key, that layout service will get authenticated. Okay, so that's why we are using the API key. Okay, so it is same as Sitecore JSS. Okay, and this GraphQL and the sitemap URI I just provided for the extending the functionality. I will tell you what is those things as well. Okay, so mostly here, what you have to change is like an instance URL and then your respective site definition, site name, and then API key. Okay, so here instead of this domain, you have to introduce your instance name only. Okay, so then our host is ready to uh, uh, launch. Okay, so now we'll see in action. Okay, so first we'll see the life cycle. Okay, so then we'll go for individual components and we'll get a little more deeper knowledge in the solution perspective. Okay. Okay, so before running a project, I'm just giving one more heads up. Okay, so this is a project layer. Okay, so here only our the rendering host will be present. Okay, so you can assume this is a two different project. Okay, so one is demo bank offers, one is a demo bank site. Okay, so first let me run the demo bank site. Okay, so you can see it is serving from localhost. Okay, our Sitecore XP is in different location. Okay, so that I already hosted in my IIS. Okay, so you can see some important information here. Okay. Okay, so you see. Okay, so in background, what I will tell you in background what it is happening. So this is a layout service data, which is used to build our hosting application. Okay. Now you can see the page is loaded. So this is on sample website. Okay. Now how it's working actually, I will tell you the life cycle. So with this command helper, you can find out. Okay. So now you see the initiation start here. Okay. So it's started requesting this get request. Okay. So this will go to our Sitecore XP. Okay. I will tell you. Okay. When I run this project, okay, so it will start communicating. You don't have to worry about these things. Okay, so once you done your startup CS and everything, it will serve the layout service. Okay, but prior that you have to deploy your platform related items into Sitecore XP. That also key thing. Now you can see. Okay, so this is a JSON used to build our presentation. Basically, it's nothing but okay. So it's a presentation, which is exactly similar to Sitecore JSS. Okay, so if you people little idea about the Sitecore JSS and everything. Okay, so it's very simple. The same the context and root will get used. Okay, so you see our components will come here. Okay, so using these JSON information only, we are building our site. Okay, so now we'll look on how the things are. Okay, so this is how the sample website. Okay, so as you see, I have some navigation component. Okay, so I'm having my language switcher. So right now I'm supporting English and Tamil. Okay, so then some common components I have. Okay, and some collection components also I have, like a carousel and the card related component. Okay, so all these details you will have a so familiar the structure. Okay, so example homepage you see. If you go to the presentation, from Sitecore side, no big learning curve you will have, but in the coding side, definitely you should have some learning curve. Okay, so because here there won't be any Sitecore context. Okay, so only we have this layout service context. Using that only everything is getting built. Okay, so I will try to give. Okay, parallel it will get load. I will tell you. Now coming back to our solution. Okay, so this is a startup. Okay, so this is our project. Okay, so the same thing, I have a multiple project as well. Okay, so you can run multiple project at the same time as well. So this is one more site. So that site also I that's available in local, and this demo bank offers, right? So this is one more site I hosted here. Now coming back to our solution, let load parallelly. Okay. So this is how the ASP.NET Core project look like. Okay. So few things very familiar to you. Okay, like a control model view. Okay. But how where it will get start actually. So it is a little different from our ASP.NET. Okay. So I'll try to give those information as well. Okay. So you just go through once you download all the details. Okay. Next site also load. Okay, so this is another website. Okay, so this has their own login page. Okay, I will tell you. Now we'll come back to our things. The initial point is, okay, so this program CS. Okay, so here only the builder and configuration we started registering. Okay, so we have our own startup custom project. Okay, so here only most of the configuration details will be present. Okay, so the key startup will start from this configuration. Okay, so this configuration, nothing but whatever we have in app settings, right? So those things will be get configured in the configuration CS. Okay, so here it will be Sitecore options. Okay, so here you will have the instance and the layout service path and the API key path. It's a simple. Okay, so I will just get the app settings into Sitecore configuration. Okay, so this configuration I will use in startup CS in multiple places. Okay, so this is how the startup CS will work. Okay, so most of the things I take it from the get started template. Okay, so a few things I added. Okay, I will tell you a few things quickly. Okay, so we'll see that as well. Okay, so here you want to allow the cultures. Okay, so multilingual. Okay, so you have to add it like this. Okay, so you can see right now I'm supporting default EN language plus the one more additional language as a Tamil. Okay, like that I'm just adding. Okay, so you have to make enable by Sitecore request localization. Okay, so using that, our layout service call will append our the language properties and all. Okay, so as per the command, okay, so get started template having their own explanation. Okay, so I will try to give any different things which I customize, or which things to notice like that. Okay, not the generic like that things. Okay, so this is how you have to register your components. Okay, so in JSS also, if you see, they will have there also they will have their own the component registration. Okay, so this is how you have to register component. Okay, so example banner, I'm registering. Okay, so how it will get registered now in future component, you will see the banner. Okay, so this is a um, the one razor project. Okay, so here using this only I can able to reuse across a multiple project. Okay, so this have the extension and the models and the views. Okay, so I will tell you the structure, then you will get familiar. Okay, so extension is nothing but, okay, so when the service is registering, I am registering this component. Okay, so example, I'm using one Jumbotron. Okay, so the model will be banner model. Okay, so that is this purpose of this extension. And apart from that, this model and view, it's very familiar to you, like a banner model. We will have the models. Okay, so here noticeable thing is, you see text field, rich text field, image field. These are all Sitecore fields. Sitecore dot layout service dot client dot response dot model fields. You can see, right? So using this field only, we can able to bind it automatically, as well as it will support the experience editor as well. Okay. So now you see, I will show one sample component, then you will with me actually. Okay. Now it's loaded. You see, it's very simple. Okay. So it's very straightforward. It's existing the same thing. Okay. So all the rendering placeholder, dynamic placeholder, everything's nothing to change. Okay, so I'm just showing one sample component, then you will align with me. Okay, so this is my jumbo drum. Okay, so basically this component, okay, banner component I'm using. Okay, so you see the similar, all the fields and all the things. Okay, the same field structure, I create a model here. Oh my God. See, card title, card description, card paragraph, card image, same thing. Okay, the respective type will differ. Okay, so you have to register, you have to use Sitecore related fields. Then in CSS HTML, again the same work. Okay, so uh, you have to use the custom tag helpers. Okay, so in this is nothing but we have a paragraph and shown like that. No, so the same way, if it's a text. Okay, so Sitecore is offering the custom tag helpers. Okay, so SE text. Okay, so you have to bind your model description here, then it will render the text. Okay, so the same way link you can see like that. You have to do the link modulation. The same way image field. Okay, so we have a multiple fields are available. You have to do like that. Okay, so then the model will be available here. You have to refer the model. You have to bind the value like that. Okay, so this is how the respective components will get render. Okay, starting point here, the ending point will be feature layer. Okay, so how we can reuse this? Again, it's very simple. Okay, so the same way, yeah, I have another project, right? So here I will have the startup. That startup you have to register this component. Okay, so then you have to add a reference as well, obviously. Then you can able to register and you can able to reuse the component. Okay, so in presentation also here you have to map that rendering over here. Okay, so then it will talk. Okay, so the important thing is, as I shown in the component name, right, example. So this is my Jumbotron, the rendering. Okay, so it's nothing but a hero banner. Okay, in Bootstrap world it is called as a Jumbotron. Okay, so this component name is key. Okay, so you have to maintain that component name while registering, and the component name should be proper. Then only it will get work. Okay, you see, I'm using that key. Then only it will listen to your component. Okay, so this is how typically the component will get reused and will get rendered in the pages. Okay, so now continue with the startup CS. Okay, so next thing is a configuration section. Okay, so that app have their own set of configuration, like the routing or custom routing. Okay, so experience editor support. Okay, so those kind of things. Okay, so that I'm trying to add here as much possible. Okay, so this is a main entry point for each and every request. Okay, any call you are making, it will hit the default controller. Okay, so this is a core part. Okay, so I will show you that as well. This is a default controller. Okay, now you see I'm just having a breakpoint here. Then you will with me actually. Now you see this is a default rendering. I already registered. Okay, so this is the attribute you have to use. This is a Sitecore rendering. That way it can resolve the Sitecore layout service context, and root to object will be available to us. Okay, so what will happen in here now? So when the any URL is hitting, okay, so it will directly route to the index page. Okay, so here it will directly result route what I shown in the layout service information, right? Automatically the context will get resolved, and we will get the route information. Okay, so using that route information, all the components will get registered. I will show you one or two pages, then you will with me. Good. Okay, so now I'm in home page. Okay, so I'm going to some different page. Okay, so it's called branch and ATM locator. Okay, so this page is useful for like the user can come and see their branches and ATM the locations. Okay, so I will show you. Now you see here for branch and ATM locator page, it is hitting here. Okay, so if I'm expanding route of it. Okay, so here I will have all the information what we I'm seeing in that layout service, right? It will directly resolve. Okay, so this is a branch and ATM locator. It's nothing but our this page. Okay, so this page and that related components, everything will get resolved. Okay, so this is how the context getting resolved. Okay, so if any not available pages available coming, okay, so it will tell what is the 404 related item. Okay, so those things. Okay, so using custom context. Okay, so I'm managing that 404 related item. Okay, so this is our similar to our normal pipeline related activity. This is a platform project. Okay, now you see I'm passing, so it's moving to different page. Okay, so this util is using a GraphQL. Okay, so used to search the functionality. Okay, so what it will do, I will tell you in shortly. Okay, so I'm try to search the ATM branches alone. See this also, it will come to here because the page is getting refreshed. I'm basically posting the request. Okay, so you see this is the property I'm searching. Okay, so basically what it is searching now, I have a list of branch details, where that branch is supporting ATM, and those information I'm listing here. Okay, so that is a common action. Okay, in Sitecore, as of now I'm using only one property. Okay, so I will use some advanced concept in the coming days. Okay, so how I'm doing now, so I have my own settings. Okay, source list, branch and ATM. Okay, so this list is getting served. Okay, basically, so you can assume this is one of a location. Okay, so this is my branch details. Okay, so I have some facility type. It is having only ATM or branches there. Both branch and ATM is there. Okay, so those information is present here. Based on this facility type, I'm just fetching the details. Okay, so like this, these information only presenting in this table. Okay, so how this is working is using GraphQL. Okay, so I'm moving to the respective feature first. Okay, so feature is a simple one. I will show directly view because model and queries will be same. Okay, so you see Okay, core is constant. I will show you. So this is how the GraphQL query will look like. Okay. So what I'm doing here, I will give a shot. Okay, so I'm searching some branches. Okay, so what I'm looking is these details. Okay, example branch name, branch location, branch facility type. Okay, so these things I'm looking. Okay, so the parameters like example, what is the root item, what is the language I'm searching, how many items I need. Okay, so what is the condition. Okay, so as I told, I am searching by facility type, right? So how those parameters will be configured using variable. Okay, so this one GraphQL client, I'm using the .NET GraphQL client. Okay, so using this only I'm managing all the GraphQL queries. Okay, so you can see this is a variable. These are all my properties which I'm using. Okay, so this should be the context language. Okay, so for implementation purpose I'm using like that. Okay, so this will be the root item. Okay, so this will be the page size. Okay, so here is the property. Okay, so I'm just going to show this as well. Okay, so example, I'm searching branch. Okay, okay, so I need to build the query. Basically this is the input, you can assume like that. Okay, okay, so now you see this is my input. Okay, based on this criteria only I'm doing. So this field should be multiple. Okay, so as of now I'm searching with only one field, like the facility type should be branch. Okay, so that's how my query is working. Okay, so it will return the result like this. Okay, I have only one item with that category, so these are all my fields. Okay, so again these fields you see I'm try to looping and setting the values. It's a common logic. Okay, so you see that item is getting binded. So this is how we can implement. Okay, so the things to note here, you need a platform project as well. Okay, so it will not work simple because you need a graphical items as well. Okay, so you need that configuration. Okay, so as of now I'm using a default configuration. Typically how it will be now, like a solar or losing, you have a right, we have our own custom indexes. Okay, so using that we will build, right? So the same way we have to build this as well. Okay, so as of now I'm using default index. Okay, so I will create one sample for custom index as well in going forward. Okay, so this is how the things will be, GraphQL items will be. Okay, so different thing will be language switcher. Okay, so language switcher, I'm following the official Sitecore recommendation. Okay, so as I showed now, there you have to register. Okay, so using these feature too, I'm implementing that language feature component. Okay, so one more thing I want to show is like some kind of a custom routing. Okay, so custom routing is here it will be very simple. Okay, with my site. Okay, so I'm using sitemap. Okay, okay, so you see it is serving some sitemap XML. Okay, so how it is basically working using my different extension. Okay, so this extension only. Okay, so using this extension, it's a platform extension. Okay, so you have to build and you have to put it in your Sitecore XP. Okay, so this will responsible to serve the XML like this. Okay, so this is actually serving from XP. Okay, so this XML I will consume it in here. Okay, so sitemap, you don't need to every time hit the server and do the request. Okay, so what you can do is like in your rendering host, you can either locally store it in your local file in somewhere, as well as you can have it in your cache or somewhere in rendering host. Okay, so this way we can able to achieve the sitemap related functionality. Okay, so I think I covered things. Okay, so one sample for the multi language. Okay, so here you see this is how the multilingual things will work. Okay, so the keynote is here. The layout service call will be send ta hyphen in. Sure, it's latest updated on. Yeah, you see, the C language will be TA. That's why it's giving the latest languages. Okay. Okay. So the custom routing, as I told, no. So the sitemap is using some custom routing. So it's very straightforward. Okay. So you have to create route. That's it, because it's not going to clash with your Sitecore XP. Okay, so this is with you. You can play with you whatever you want. 404 also PC. Okay, so I think I covered a few things. Okay, so most of the things I covered. Okay, so you can go through the sample. Okay, now coming back to our slide. Sorry. Okay, so as I said, I have created the sample project. Okay, so I consider some common components, common practices. If you want to add some more components or some more use cases or scenarios, you just let me know. I will add this as well. Okay, so I will try to cover this as well. Now, any queries, team, I can take.
Yeah, hi Andy.
Yeah, hi.
Thanks. First of all, this session is very helpful. So I have one question related to this license. Is there any way that the license file we have has the headless support? Is there any way we can check it?
Yeah, I think 1 minute. So we can do like this. It will show. I'm not sure. I'm also checking. Okay. Basically, this will tell you. Okay. Okay. So easiest option. No, then you have to contact your marketing, or you have to install it actually.
Yeah,
You can
okay,
try.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay, thanks.
JSS will come to default. Okay, so headless service, they provided these kind of licensing information. Okay, so probably your marketing team will get to know that.
I think by default in Sitecore is included.
Sorry.
I think by default, I think by default in Sitecore 10 license it's included.
Yeah.
So Sitecore support headless in 10. I think they are moving towards headless, not JS. So they by default include that license. Even if you get, I think if you get a license with just for development, that would also include the headless.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.